What's up, all you cool cats and kittens? This is your boy Carol Mathskin out here at Big Cat Rescue. Just kidding. I've obviously been watching Joe Exotic and the Tiger King documentary on Netflix. With the permission of your parents, I suggest checking it out. It's pretty funny, but it is viewer discretion advised. So make sure you have permission of your parents before you do so. Anyway, let's talk about logs. So last week, you guys really got to know a log and sort of how it works as a math topic and like sort of a math function, something that we can do to a number. A log is it's basically an exponent. It's another way of thinking about exponents. And so today we're going to talk about graphing logs, and hopefully this will give you enough of an idea of what we're looking at when we graph logs to work on that student.desmos.com assignment that I've got for you guys, that marble slides game. I want y'all to play with that this week and see if we can understand how to move around a log function and sort of what it means to do so. All right, so let's start by looking at the standard form for a log function. So this is something that we should be used to seeing by now. All of these transformations that we can do to a function. We've done this with the radical function. We've done this with an exponential function. We did this with parabolas, and we've done this with polynomial functions as well. So this should not be something that is super new to us, okay? So the first thing is this A. This A is obviously a multiplier. One thing that's sort of interesting about the A is because of our log properties, the A can also show up here as an exponent on the argument there. We know that because of our log properties, if we see a number here, we probably want to bring it out over here to make it a much simpler thing to, go ahead and do the log and then multiply it out instead of having to do the log with an exponent. Much more difficult there. So keep in mind that your A might show up here as well. B is the base of our log, which is also going to be the base of our exponent. We'll talk about some certain things here. If you have a regular log of x, right, and it doesn't have a spot here, all right, it is an assumed 10, right? So our standard base for a log is 10. So if it's blank, we're going to be using a 10 as our base, all right? And then another one that I want to introduce you to as well is the ln, all right? The ln of x, all right? ln, we say this as a natural log. So if I was going to read this as like y equals the natural log of x. I think it's also mathematically correct to say y equals ln of x. I think that's an okay way to say that, but natural log is going to be the vocabulary word for that. Now, ln means that we have a log with a base of e. All right, so these two would be the same thing, right? So that's going to be something that we're going to look at a little bit more. I was asked by a few students to zoom in to some of the important pieces of the notes, so let me do that really quick so that you can just get a good look at that little thing that we've got there. So two important things. These are two sort of separate things. Our base, if it's blank, so if we see something like log of x, that is a 10 as the base. And then if we see something that's a ln x, that's a natural log, which means that we've got that number e. We'll talk a little bit more about the number e later in the week, but you guys should start to get familiar with that. Okay. Now the other things that we haven't talked about yet are the h and the k. The h works exactly like we're used to seeing. Okay, so the h is going to create a horizontal shift of our graph, okay? And it's always the opposite of what we see here, right? So if we see like a -5, that means that we're going to be going to the opposite, so that'll be a shift to the right by 5. We usually associate to the right as with positive, but in this case we know that we always do the opposite with the horizontal. We've explained that many times. It has to do with the fact that the x has to make up for that h value, and so it has to go the opposite direction in order to sort of even that thing out. Okay. There's also a k. K is going to do vertical shifts, which we are used to. K is totally an afterthought. It's after we've done all of the hard math. We've done the log, we've dealt with the base, we've walked it around, we've multiplied in if we had a multiplier, and then when we're done, we just add a number to it, right? So total afterthought, and it works just like normal, right? So like a positive 3 would be a shift up, okay? So those are some things that we're going to get used to. Okay, now let's talk about actually graphing a function, all right? I'm going to start by using a base of 2. A base of 2 is sort of an easy place to start. Obviously, a normal log function, a regular log function, is going to have a base of 10, but that can be kind of difficult to think about. So I want to start with having a base of 2. So example number 1. All right, we are going to graph the function log y equals log base 2 of x. All right, y equals log base 2 of x. Now in a second here, I'm going to sort of snap my fingers and make some stuff up here on the screen. And that's just to sort of save some time here from the video. I'm capped out at 15 minutes. YouTube's got some strict rules about teachers posting videos. They don't want them to be longer than 15 minutes. I guess that's so that you guys don't get too bored watching math videos. Okay, so what I've got here is a table with x and y. Now, I made the y values the ones that I'm filling in. And the reason for that is it's going to be hard to anticipate the x values, right? Because if you think about it, when I'm working these out, I'm going to have to say 2 to the y power is equal to x, right? So I'm going to have a base of 2, but the exponent on that 2 is going to be the y. Now, it's going to be really hard to sort of work that backwards because you can imagine these x numbers are highly dependent on what the exponent is, right? And so if I was going to try to pick x values, I would actually have to do the work first in order to pick whole numbers that are going to work, right? So like if I were to say pick the number 10 for x, well, 10 is not really a number that can result from having a base of 2, right? There's no number that if I say, okay, 2 to some power equals 10, right? Well, 2 squared is 4, and 2 to the third is 8, and then 2 to the fourth is 16. So 10 is never really a part of that, and so 10 is going to be some like decimal value here. And so to make it more meaningful for us to be able to create points, a good strategy is to actually pick your y values and then see the resulting x values. Seems backwards, and that's because it is backwards. Okay, so anyway, so let's go ahead and fill in our table here. So I'm going to do some of that work over here to the left. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at what the x value is for this function. All right, we want to look at what that x value is when y, when y is -2. So let's start like this. So we're going to say 2 to the -2 power. And again, we're doing that because you walk it around, right? 2 to this exponent gives you this answer, right? So 2 to the y gives you the x, right? That's actually a good thing to write down. Let me go ahead and add that to our notes here. So 2 to the y equals x, all right? So really what we're doing here is an exponential function, right? An exponential function looks just like this, except the y and the x were switched. That's actually what's called taking the inverse of a function, is where you switch x and y. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer to the end of the year. Okay, so 2 to the -2 power, right? So a negative exponent, what that does is kind of make it into a fraction. So this is the same thing as 1 over 2 squared, which is going to be 1 over 4. So our x value here is 1 over 4. All right, so let's go ahead and plot that point here when x is 1/4. So I'm just barely going over just a little bit. I'm going to have a point that's down here. All right, so there's that first point on my graph. All right, the second point will be 2 to the -1 power. 2 to the -1 power is just 1/2. All right, so now I'm going to be going over 1/2 in the x column, and it only goes down by 1. Okay, so we can kind of see that our graph is increasing here. All right, now we're going to do 2 to the 0. Don't forget that anything to the 0 power is 1. All right, so 0, 1. Now we've got an x-intercept. All right, and let's keep going here. So 2 to the first power. 2 to the first power is just 2. Okay, so our next point is 2, 1. All right, and then our next one would be 2 squared, right? Remember, I'm plugging in each y value so that I can fill out my table and then make my graph. So 2 squared is 4. So we're going to have out here x is 4 and y is 2. All right, so we can kind of see what's happening here. Okay, I could anticipate that if I went one more, right, so 2 cubed would be 8. So I can probably fit that one out here as 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here is my graph of a very simple log function. All right, now let's talk a little bit about what's happening out here, right? So out here, this is, depending on what your base is, this is sort of, this is going to be going up exponentially. So this is just going to get flatter and flatter and flatter because as I increase the x value, it's going to take much bigger and bigger gaps to go up by 1 or to get to the next exponent, right? Because that's how exponents work. They grow exponentially. So you can see that my x values here grew. I had a change of 1, I had a change of 2, and then I had a change of 4. So next I would anticipate a change of 8, and so it's going to stretch out even further over there to the right. Now what's happening here, and some of you guys might remember this term from when we did exponential functions, here we actually do have a vertical asymptote because my graph is never going to get to this 0 mark, right? And so that's because as my y value gets more and more and more negative, all that's going to happen is this number on the bottom of the fraction is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But that 1 is never going to go away. The 1 at the top of the fraction is never going to go away. It's always going to be there. And so we're never going to get a value of 0. So we've got a vertical asymptote here. All right, so my graph, sort of if I were to think about the domain of this graph, all right, it would have a domain from 0, but not including 0, so we would use a parenthesis there, and then it is going to go out to infinity. All right, and then my range is actually from negative infinity to positive infinity because my y values can go all the way up or all the way down. All right, so there's a sort of a unique thing is that our domain is restricted here. We can't have negative results. And that's because we have a positive base, right? Whenever you have a positive base, doesn't matter what exponent you have on it, the answer is going to be positive. All right. So from here, you can sort of, use this shape to help you. You will be looking at different ways that you can flip this, reflect it using an A value, right? So our A is going to be able to do reflections. It's also going to be able to do compressions, or we're also going to be able to have stretches here with the A. All right. We're going to be able to have growth factor changes here with the B, right? So let me grab a different color. So B is going to provide some growth factor. We've done that before when we did exponential equations. All right. And so when you get onto Desmos and you get into that activity, I'd really like for you guys to really be mindful of what you are doing with H, with K, with B, and with A, and really be purposeful about how you're trying to catch those marbles and make them go and touch the stars on that activity. All right, be really mindful of that. Be elegant with your solutions. Be mathematic. Actually do calculations. All right. I guess I didn't type these into Desmos, so I can do that really quick. So let's go ahead and type in our results here to Desmos. So we had 1/4. That's 1/2. 1/4. And then 1/2. All right, and then we had 1 and 2 and 4. And so again, we can see our function starting to grow here. All right, so there is graphing logs for you. If you have any questions, come see me during office hours.